What's going on, everybody? I know it's been a while. I've been off. I've been MIA for a minute. Haven't been making no videos, things like that. But I'm back now. I'm sorry for uh not doing my thing, getting these videos out. I've been doing a lot. Been busy. You know how things go. Things have stopped me up. But I'm back now. That's what's important. And for all those new people, welcome to my channel. Hope the information I put out can help you guys out in the future, or if you're going along this journey with me, things like that. And for everybody that's already been there, subscribe, like, comment, whatever. Thank you for that. Thank you for your support. It really helps me out. Things like that. But yeah. So today I'm gonna be talking about the transition from tech school. If you saw my last recent videos, going into being operational and get into your base, and how things go and things like that, and how things are in my opinion. All right, so first thing, right, for me is like in tech school, right, the way usually things are set up is tech school you get put on a team with about 80 plus people, so you're like how do you say that, it's not like you're forced, but eventually like you'll start building connections with people, things like that. You'll find people in your age group and all that, people to hang out with, and blah 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 blah, things like that, because you're gonna be at tech school training with those same people every day from like 1 month to however long or how many months your tech school is gonna be. And it's like it's pretty chill, pretty simple, just like that, things like that. You report in, you have a set schedule, you wake up, you leave, you do this, do that, then you go back to your dorms and you do whatever for the rest of the day. And then the weekends, you always have weekends off. So like during the week, you could plan with your friends or new people that you meet, things like that. If they want to go hang out on the weekend and do things or whatever, blah 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 blah, so and so. And it's like it's like a good way to make friends, meet people, things like that. Broaden your network, expand, and all of that and such. And then when it comes to being operational, it's a completely different story. Like for me, I would say I've been at my base for about, let's see, I got here Monday. Yeah, it's been about a week now so far, starting tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be about a week for me tomorrow. So I'm technically still in training status, right? But because I have to finish some more training. So next week I have like a week of training to do, and then the week after that is when I'll actually start working and be put on flight. So right now I'm on training status with like a group of other people, and honestly, it's like so far like the weekends are boring for me, and like just every day, because like sometimes we get out early, or like we get out around the same set time, which is like still early compared to being in tech school. And what was it? Yeah. But like for me, like I was saying, it's sort of hard for me to like find people to like hang out with and chill with, like people in my age group. I would say especially for like, so for those of you people that are, watching this video, that are coming into the military, mainly pertaining to Air Force, I can't really help you other branches. But yeah, go Air Force if you're watching this thing about going any other branch. Go Air Force, best branch. Um but yeah, so like for those of you that are like 17, if your parents signed the paper or whatever, to like about 19, 20-ish, I would say, it's like it's kind of hard to find people in your age group to hang out with, because the bases be like so expanded, you don't know nobody, you're not put on like a big team with a bunch of people in your age group, things like that. And like mostly everybody on the base when you're operational is like 21 and up. So, they already know people, they've been there for a minute, or they're just old enough to just meet up with some people and, go out drinking, things like that. So like it's kinda hard to meet new people and make new friends, things like that, right? But for the most part it's pretty chill, because you could just do some things on your base by yourself, hang out, you know, uh go play pool, go to BX, the gym, commissary, go to the pool, thing like that. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like that, unless you like come from tech school with some people that was on your team, and you get to your base, which for me, I have about like probably two people from my team that's here at my base with me. So I hang with them every now and then like some other people that was from tech school, but like on other teams, different from me. But yeah, but like the two people that are here with me, one of my friends, he has a wife and a child, and like he's still older than me, so it's still kind of iffy. Like I'm chill with him, but it's still kind of iffy on the hanging out and stuff. And then my other friend, he left for the weekend, drove back home to get some more stuff and see his family and all that, blah blah. But yeah, for the most part, it's definitely a big difference. I would say it's definitely a real culture shock for those of you that are not sure on what to expect, because you're like leaving all the friends that you made and people you became cool with, and you're going operational now, where you're expected to know your job, do your job, and you're going to a base where potentially you don't really know anybody, and you don't know the base, you don't know how to get around. You know what I'm saying? So like a real good tip to like help you guys out, um, like if you're planning on coming in, things like that, right? You are definitely gonna need a car. Eventually, you're definitely gonna need to buy a car, right? So this is where it's time for you to grow up. If you're young, if you're older, you should already know that, have that in mind, have that set. But you're definitely gonna need a car when you get to your base. I would say that, and like starting off from like when you're in basic and tech school, don't try and get a car when you're in tech school. You don't really need one, because most likely, whatever tech school you're at, the base is an AETC base, which basically means that like the base is a training base. So like they do a lot of tech school trainings or NCO or anything like that, or advancement trainings, blah blah blah, things like that, right? So you wouldn't really need a car, because seeing as how that base is a training base, I think it's called air education training. I said that completely wrong. I'll get back to you guys on that. But yeah, seeing as how it's a training base, they're gonna have like ways for you to get around, like a bus, or things won't be so spread out far apart, or you won't really have to go far places. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. You could get Ubers on the base. There will be other people there that like may live in that state, and you're in their tech school, and they have to tech school with you, so they'll probably have a car. Things like that. You got to communicate, network, so you get around. But yeah, when you get to your base, like your first base going operational, like for me, at first I wasn't gonna have my car down here, but seeing as how things are going this like past week, I definitely need a car, cause I'm put on a team with like a couple people right now that are in training with me as well, and like about, I would say, 4 to 5 people don't have a car, and the things like they've been having us doing in the meantime before we start our training is like a lot of back and forth traveling, things like that. And like they didn't have a car, so I had to give people lifts. Like I have no problem with that, but we had the, what's that called, a carpool, each other, communicate, talk like that, get people here and there, and now they're trying to start getting cars because they see that they're gonna need it, right? But yeah, so like definitely what I would say to do is, while you're in basic, save your money as much as you can. Save your money as much as you can. While you're in tech school, you can hang out. I'm not saying don't spend any money. You know what I'm saying? Have fun every now and then, but like don't go out every single weekend. You know what I'm saying? And spend like a couple $100s here and there. Like no, go out like probably every other weekend. Or if you do find yourself going out every week, you can't help it. Try not to spend over like $100 a week. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And then also for like when you go on leave and rap, which is things that you do after tech school. So rap is like recruiter's assistance program. That's where you help your recruiter out back home for 2 weeks, things like that. You're gonna need money for traveling to get back and forth from your house. No, it's not, like from your house to your recruiter. Unless you have a car, you still gotta pay for gas, right? And then when you go on leave, wherever you go on leave at, you're gonna need traveling, things like that. But try not to spend too much money. That's the main thing. Because when you get to your first base operational, you're definitely gonna need a car. Now, in some situations, you might be able to drive to your base if you have a car. Highly recommended. But say you're you're like on let me see. Say you're like on the East Coast, right? New York, North Carolina, New Jersey, blah 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 blah. Any of those states, and you get stationed in California, Washington, what other continents is on that side? Colorado, New Mexico, something like that, right? Now you can drive, but that's a far drive, you know? You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna be putting a lot of miles on your car. But that's completely optional, it's up to you. Or you could sell the car back home or give it to a family member or something and they pay you a couple bucks, you know, and then when you get to your base, you just buy a new car. Or if you happen to get stationed overseas, getting your car overseas, it's a whole process because first you got to get it over there, you got to pay for any extra fees or whatever. And then if your car doesn't meet the country that you're in, wherever you're stationed, their regulations, you're going to have to convert the car over to meet their standards, which is going to cost you money. So basically, it's better you just get there and you buy a car. You know what I'm saying? So like that'll help you out in the long run. And then yeah, that's another thing. Speaking of like the whole traveling and all that, on like training bases when I was in tech school, we had ways to get around. Like we had people, Ubers, um, and then like there was always a bus that runs 24/7 on the base, you know, up to a certain hour because we had like curfew and all that. But yeah, so like you have ways to get around. When you're operational, there's not gonna be no bus for you to get around the base. So which means you're gonna be walking everywhere or riding a bike. So it's gonna be one of the two, or you're always gonna be carpooling with somebody and you're gonna be on their time. You know what I'm saying? Because they might have to do other stuff, but they're helping you out, giving you rides and things like that. So like you have to work your schedule and whatever you have to do around them, which sucks. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's a good thing to actually save up money and then get a car when you get to your first base. Now, when I got here, for me, I had my car, so I was lucky. I had to drive 4 hours. Wasn't too bad. Um, I got here to my base, and definitely, I would say the most important thing was that I had a sponsor. Without my sponsor, I would have been lost, confused. Like, you know, I wouldn't have gotten the things done that I needed to for my in processing, which is like it's a bit of work to in process. But yeah, definitely without the sponsor, he showed me around the base. He showed me where the BX was, gas station, where medical and all that was. You know, my squadron, things like that. And if I didn't have like a sponsor while I was here on base, I would have been lost. I wouldn't have known what to do. I wouldn't have known where to go. You know, things like that. And honestly, it just would have been like a whole delay on my part, and then it would have just made me look back. You know, so things like that. But yeah, being operational is completely different. So like back in basic training, you know, you couldn't leave base or go anywhere, do anything. And then you get to tech school, you have a little more leeway. You could leave base on the weekends, go out, hang out, blah blah blah. But you have to come back and stuff and report in and all that. So operational, they like you're at this point you're like a grown men and women, so they expect you to know what you should be doing. You know what I'm saying? So like for instance, Friday, right when Friday rolls around. Right. Okay. Sorry about that technical difficulties, but where was I at? Friday, right? Weekends. So Friday, when Friday rolls around, right? You get off work early, whatever time you get off, blah blah blah. And if you don't have to work the weekends, right? And say you don't have to work till Monday again, and you have nothing else to do, you can leave base that Friday and you can do whatever. Like you can go traveling, you could go back home, you know, you go wherever you want. So like you can leave Friday and then you would have all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then depending on whatever time you work Monday, you can either come back Sunday night or Monday morning. You know what I'm saying? So really it's like you have much more freedom while you're on base and things like that. But at the same time it's also like gonna be hard to like plan stuff with people that you do make friends with here at your first base, because you may not have like the same schedule as them or they may be part of a different squadron or something, blah 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 blah, things like that. So it's really like, it's really where you got to start figuring things out, doing things on your own, all of that, blah blah blah. And then let me see. So like the defect, there nobody here is gonna force you to eat. So if you like get sent on lunch break and you don't go eat, that's just on you. So like if you starve, you starve. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta fend for yourself at this point. And like you have to go to the DFAC at the certain times that it says. And then there's also a gym, free gym, where you just walk in. You don't have to sign up or none of that. If you're trying to stay fit, you're one of those gym bugs that stay in the gym all day, 24/7. You definitely go to the gym, put that in your schedule, and go to work. I mean, go to the gym after work or before work. Depending on how everything is set up for you, really. But when it comes to like food and things like that, yeah, there will always be a commissary on your base, and there will always be a BX on your base. So you just gotta, you gotta once you start finding your way around base, you figure out where everything is at. You find all of that and stuff, and then you go there. And then the way things are set up is, excuse me, the way things are set up is for all my older folk that are married or got dependents, things like that, right? You can get set up to live off base, where at that point, you're living off base. So you either got to buy a house or rent an apartment or rent a house, do whatever things like that, and then you got to get furniture or move your furniture. It's a whole process, but like it's basically be like you're living in your own house like before. For all the young airmen out there, and all the brand new people, single airmen, if you're living on base, right? I can't speak for all bases on how their dorms are set up, but for the most part, I know my base here at Moody Air Force Base is set up like sort of like a hotel type of thing, or like a motel or something, where like the front door leads to outside, and then there's like a balcony and things like that. I'll probably give like a tour in my next video of the base, for anybody coming to Moody or whoever wants to get stationed at Moody Air Force Base and stay in Georgia. But yeah, so like for the most part, the front door leads to like an outside area. All right, as I was saying once again, sorry about that. But yeah, as I was saying, for the most part, the front door leads to like the outside area. Then it's gonna be the room right here. My room's a little messy. That's why I'm not really showing you guys. But you have your bed. Then you have this cabinet, if you can see it. Yeah, there's like a cabinet right here. It's gonna be another dresser off to the side. There's gonna be a sink in the back, and then over to that side is like a walk-in closet. And then through that door right there, it's a shared space. So through that door is gonna be the kitchen, and then there's like a bathroom area, and then there's gonna be another door for the person next door. So it's essentially like two people, like uh, an apartment thing. It's you'll see how it is in tech school, depending on how your tech schools is set up. But it's usually like two people in a room, and then you share the bathroom with the two people in the next room, and you don't have a kitchen. So here it's like a bit of an upgrade now. So I have my own room by myself. I'm the only one in here. I can have visitors whenever people come chill, or bring people, blah blah blah, things like that. And then I just share the kitchen area where I can actually cook food, buy food, and keep in there. You know what I'm saying? Like cereal, pasta, rice, chicken, milk, whatever, juice. And I could cook food if I want to. And then I share the bathroom with that person next door. So it's essentially like a big change and a big difference. For me, I'm still getting used to, I guess you could say, being on my own now, base life, because now I got to do things on my own. If I want to go somewhere, go off base, look for something to do, somewhere to, go chill, hang out, be by myself, and then I gotta come back, cook, buy things like cleaning supplies, food, essentials that I'll need in the house. Well, dorm house. I call it a house because this is where I'm be living for like the next year, 2, 3 years, however long they decide to keep me here. But yeah, so it's not all that bad, but it's definitely a big difference from tech school coming into being operational and things like that. And like how it was in tech school where you had to always give a reporting statement before you said anything or asked a question about anything or something like that. Going operational is completely different. You can walk up to any rank from like E1 all the way up to chief, and just start a conversation or just ask a question without reporting statements or anything like that. Um, but of course, you got to be respectful and things like that when you're talking to them. But for the most part, it's pretty much chill. You'll definitely find yourself to uh, get along with your superiors or like your superintendents or your instructors or whatever they call themselves or whatever you call them. But always make sure you have that respect and things. Make sure you follow the rules of the base. Make sure you know the rules of base and things like that, and know, depending on how your base is, which gates will always be open. Like for me, one of the nights I had missed the chow hall, like to get food, cause I didn't know where it was at still. So by the time I found it, it was closed, and it was like late at night, like probably around like 9, 10, and we have no curfew. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave off base, go get some food. I found the Domino's nearby, and I'm driving off base, and I'm heading to a gate, but the gate is closed. And I'm like, okay, I came through that gate like earlier. I seen it open, so what? I'm like, I don't get it. Like, can we not leave at night? Can we leave? I was confused. I didn't really understand. I had nobody to ask, nothing like that. And like my sponsor had gotten deployed, so I couldn't even text him or nothing like that. And it was late at night. I didn't want to bother him. So I'm driving around, and I head to like another gate that I found. That one was closed as well. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I go to the gas station to get some, but the gas station is closed. But I see the employees outside. So I asked them, I'm like, hey, are there any gates that are open now? Or like, are all gates closed? Like people can't leave base. But that wouldn't really make sense because if people don't live on base, uh, how would they like leave and go home? Or for somebody that went off base and then come back late, how would they get on base? So I'm like, okay, there has to be a gate open. That's like impossible for every gate to be closed. And they finally told me, they were like, yeah, there's a gate all the way down about like 1 2 minute drive, and it's 24-hour gate. It's the only gate that's 24 hours. And I was like, wow, okay. So you see, like it definitely helped, and me having a car also helped out with that. Because if I didn't have a car, I would have had to walk and walk at night to get to the Domino's, and the Domino's was about 10 minutes away, driving. So it definitely, it definitely, it helps you get around and things like that, and it definitely helps to ask people. Always ask questions. Don't be scared to ask questions. That's number one, and get used to talking to people. That's how you network, communicate, things like that. And that's how I found out that that one gate was open and it's 24 hours. So I went to the gate, went and got my food, came back, and I talked to the guy at the gate, asked him how things were here, blah blah blah. And recently, I believe like today and yesterday, I ran into the same sergeant that was at the gate, and like no reporting statement or nothing. Like we just had like a conversation, like just off top, just had a conversation, person to person, about how the job was, how he looks at it, and like giving me tips and things like that. So there I'm like networking and communicating, getting to know him. And like now when he sees me around base, he knows who I am. He knows I'm that person that asks questions and things like that, and that I'm interested in certain things. And he might actually, put your name out there, which will actually help you get noticed and recognized more. And like they'll pick you up for different jobs and things like that. But yeah, so pretty much it's definitely a culture shock for all those. You'll definitely get used to it. At first, I'm not gonna lie, the first week you're gonna feel a bit uncomfortable, feel a bit iffy because you're sleeping, in a room by yourself now. You don't have no roommate except for the person that you share the kitchen and bathroom with, and that's if they're even there. If they're like your age or not, because they might be like in their mid 20s or almost 30. and like you could be young or around my age and stuff. So it's definitely like something you'll get used to eventually, but at first it'll be weird. But yeah, so for those of you tuning in, I hope this helped. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments down below. Subscribe, leave a like, comment, it helps. Follow me on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, that's what you're subscribing. Follow me on my Instagram, that's what I meant to say. But yeah, follow me on my Instagram. Tell me if you think this helped. If you have any questions, feel free to just ask. I'll always answer whenever I can if I'm not working or not busy doing something. But yeah, for the most part, I'm gonna try and start dropping more videos. I hope this helped everybody. In the next video, I'll probably give like a tour or talk about something else. But for now, I will just see you guys in the next video. Oh! God's plan. God's plan. I can't do this on